Hello my friends and welcome back to Italy, a place to love YouTube channel. Okay, today as usual on Thursday I'm going to make a video about a post that was written on a group on Facebook that I'm following about expats, so people who are planning to relocate to Italy or they are already relocated. And so let's start, and because there are so many comments under the post and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read them all, let's start and let's see how far we can go to understand what happened to this person who purchased a property here in Italy. Now, let me read the comment. Hi, we bought a property and the land marked on the drawing is not the same as the reality. Now, this is the first issue. This is the issue. To make it regular is going to cost almost 3,000 euros. So, not a disaster, but a lot of money just to make a correction on a plan. So, the plan has to be corrected. The agent that sold the house quite clearly told us that it was his job to make sure everything was regular for the sale and that by paying a commission is acting on our behalf. Now, here I would have already said my opinion that here the agent, to be honest, has nothing to do with this part of the purchasing. Now, here should have been only the solicitor job to check all the papers correctly. But anyway, okay, so we didn't entirely trust everything, but we didn't expect this issue. So do we have any legitimate case to go back to the agent and claim the cost of regularization? Technically, if there are written papers, maybe they might have. So if there was an agreement, but if it was just a verbal agreement, I'd say it's not gonna work. But if there was something written, now we don't know. Now anyone, does he have a legal responsibility or is it just our word against his? Thank you very much. So basically here it's all about the written things according to me and the notarius job. Now in Italy we have this figure, okay, when you purchase a property, when you buy a property, technically we go to a solicitor, but it's a different type of solicitor that in Italian we call notaio. I'd say in English you call notarius. So it's the solicitor that has the responsibility of selling or buying or selling a property. You have to refer to a notaio. Now, for example, here there are many comments, so and let's see, for example, what someone replied under this post. Now, real estate agents in Italy are legally required to act with professional diligence. Therefore, they should verify the property's compliance and disclose any material issues. I agree, anyway. If the agent explicitly stated they would ensure the property's regularity and failed to do so, you may have grounds to claim reimbursement from the regularization cost. This depends on the evidence, again, such as written agreements, sales contract, or communication confirming their responsibility. The seller may also share liability if they fail to disclose the issue. That's the point for me. To pursue this, consult an Italian lawyer, draft a formal complaint to the agent and consider mediation or going to court. Okay, so basically I find this comment, yes, interesting, but let me see more here. Now, just one second. So, for example, what are comments saying here? Now, someone is saying, this is exactly why you hire and pay for a geometra as part of your due diligence before settling on a property. Now, geometra is another important figure, when you buy, because Geometra is the one, if you employ a Geometra, is the one that has to see that your plan, the plan of your house, of your apartment, is matching, the Catasto plan, because we have Catasto, this agency where they keep all the plans. Basically, Geometra is coming into the house and is checking that the house or the flat is matching with the plans of Geometra, of Catasto. Okay, so this is exactly why you are hired and pay for a Geometra as part of your due diligence before selling a property. For example, now she replied, so we insisted on a Geometra. The agent did bring one to the viewing and we received a report, but nothing about this issue was noted. Two other things did get brought up which were handled prior to the proposal. And in fact, we are now told the original mistake was made by Geometra. So I guess everyone is human. So she's taking, this mistake from a very humane point of view. Then there are more replies under this comment. For example, never collaborate with someone who is brought by an agent. Technically, I agree, employ your Geometra. Spend few little money more, but employ your. Then someone say yes, she is replying and say yes, it seems like that, so they should have employed their own Geometra. Now, someone else saying, you need a notaio, this notarius, this solicitor. You need a notaio. They are the ones to do the research about the property before a sale and be legally responsible. A Geometra is not. So now, I totally agree, for example, with this, from my point of view, I totally agree with this comment. I'd say this is the job of the notaio, why we are paying the fees to this solicitor, because his job is to see that the plans are matching with the reality. Now, I give you an example. So, there are two different options, because if you are paying cash, for example, if you are paying with a bank transfer and you pay the full amount, or if you are getting a mortgage. Because, for example, if you buy cash, let me say, then you go to the notarius. Notarius has the plan provided by the Geometra, for example. And let me say your house or your flat is not matching with the plan, but the notarius will never send another Geometra to the apartment, to the house, to see if it's matching with the property that you are buying. It will never send anyone. So then it's my responsibility as a buyer, that's why I should employ a Geometra, and reporting that the property is not matching with the reality, that the plan is not matching with the reality. But let's say, for example, that we are buying through with a mortgage. Now here the situation is different, because you will have a Geometra from the bank coming to inspect the house, coming to inspect the apartment, and before allowing you to buy, is checking, and basically if it's not matching with the reality, so it's coming with the plan, the bank Geometra is coming with the Catasto plan, and he sees that it's not matching with the reality, then he provides this material to the notarius, and the notarius is going to halt the purchase, so you won't be allowed. But you can skip this problem, if we want to call it problem, for example, by buying cash, for example. Someone might decide to buy, for example, a property cash and not caring If I'm not planning, for example, to resell this property, I might not care and I might say, okay, you know what, I find out that the plan is not the one in Catasto. Then I might ask a discount from the seller, because I go with the papers in hands and they say, hey, yeah, you, listen, it's not matching with the Catasto plan. What are we gonna do? How much is gonna cost me? Then Geometra that I employ is gonna tell me, oh, it's gonna cost 3,000 euro. Okay, so you deduct me this 3,000 euro from the selling price, for example. So, but these are things that have to be investigated from all the parts. So, from the buyer should employ a Geometra, okay? Then, at the same time, the notarius has to inspect. Again, if you are a cash buyer, you don't have this issue because you can even decide to buy the property if it's not matching with the Catasto. You simply go to the notarius the day you sign the contract, you buy the property. You are saying, no, my property is matching exactly. You already agreed with the seller. Okay, the seller has all the interest to sell it. He already discounted you the price, because obviously you realize that the plan is not matching. So I won't really worry in Italy, because in Italy, in particular in the south of Italy, I'd say more than 50% of the properties on sale are not matching with the Catasto plan. So do your own investigation before. Employ a Geometra in the area, for example, but not brought by an agent, for example. So you decide to buy in any town in Puglia, for example, or in Sicily. Now, you go to an agency, you find the house you love, you like, perfect, then contact a Geometra. Obviously, if you are an American or British, find someone who is an English speaker, find a Geometra that is an English speaker, and deal with him to investigate. You pay him some amount of money, it's not really expensive. For example, now let's keep reading. Someone say, this person who made the post, actually, let me read again. You need a notaio. They are the ones to do the research about the property before a sale and be legally responsible. A Geometra is not. Then the person who wrote the post replied to this person here, which for me is right, this person, but she said, a notaio could not know. The cadastral plan, il piano catastale, just is wrong versus the actual land. The notaio would have to go to the site, and that doesn't happen. Again, the notaio is sending, no, the notaio is never sending, the notaio has to be sure that the papers are matching. So they're all technically right, but again, you should have employed a Geometra and let you the Geometra tell you if the plan is matching or not, and then to agree personally with the seller. If you don't do this, I mean, you can be fooled, anyone can fool you. Obviously, it's not notaio. Now, let me say, the purchase, maybe, I don't know, at a legal, if this person, for example, decide to go to court and say, listen, I find out that the plan, I think even the purchase procedure could be cancelled, for example, and then they should refund you the money back. I think if they go through a court case, but then I don't know if it's her mistake to agree when she signed the contract. Anyway, notaio is the person who has to be sure 100% that all the papers are correct. But obviously when you sign, a notaio is not sending a Geometra. Now, what I told you, it just happened to me. That's why I'm saying this. And I just ask a discount. Now, I know the floor plan is not matching. I know it's not matching with the reality. Perfect. I contacted the geometra. Geometra told me, listen, to fix this, it's gonna cost 3,000 euro. Okay? So then I asked the seller, simply, to deduct me this money, and then I'm gonna take it on me. So whenever I want, I go to Geometra and I'm gonna fix all the papers. In Italy we also have some procedure when the government it says, okay, now we're gonna say to everyone that we're gonna normalize all the things that are not correct, and you might pay less money, for example. I might wait for something like this, that is gonna be even cheaper, simply because the government wants to put some money in. And in Italy this is something that every some amount of years they do, for example. Then I might decide, for example, to never do it, and if I'm gonna sell it, I might say to the seller the same thing. Okay, listen, the house, the price market for this house is 50,000 euro. Okay, I'm gonna make you a discount, 5,000 euros, simply because it's not matching. Call your geometra, everything honestly. I mean, call your geometra, ask how much it would cost to fix all these papers, and geometra might say, okay, it's gonna cost 5,000 euro, for example, and then me, as a seller, I might say, okay, but only if it's a cash buyer, the buyer. Because if the buyer is buying through a mortgage, then the bank geometra will come to inspect the property, and if it's not matching, then you have the halt. It's not going through. So the plan versus the actual land. The notaio would have to go to the site, and that doesn't happen. We should have picked, no one solicitor would ever go to a property, but this is anywhere in the world, in Ireland, in the United States. I mean, we should have picked this up at the viewing, but we didn't notice it. Plus, the agent brought a geometra on our instance, and that was wrong. For example, you should have employed, because smells dodgy, the fact that now this geometra, that is his job to check the plans, the floor plans, the lands, that's the geometra job. So technically, if there is a court case, they can bring to court, for example, but they need to have something written. For example, a signature that this geometra is the one who requested the papers. Anyway, through a solicitor, then you go to a solicitor if you don't wanna pay this 3,000 euro. That again. So that's the thing. Then so we felt like we were covered. So I understand they trusted, but then if in the reality you find out that to fix these papers, now, they actually are the owners, they are the owners of this land. I think here is about land. It's simply that it's not registered correctly, and so, but it's not like they cannot use this land. Anyway, you see, someone said, actually, you might have a case against the geometra. That's the thing. They are regulated. I'd start there, and if you don't get satisfaction, file a professional complaint. This assumes you hired the geometra, who has a duty only to you. If it was just someone the agent brought, but you didn't hire, you have no case. For example, this is a smart. Then you go after the geometra, and should also have a liability insurance to pay from. This is why you engage them. Exactly. Now, always bring your own, and don't use any service that the estate agent suggests, but the notario should also check that the sale is legal too. Now, the notarius, again, is checking that the sale is legal on the paper that the notario has. If you confirm, because you are a cash buyer and you don't have any third-party geometra coming to visit, coming to see, you will never have any halt. They were simply telling you. So she was, according to me, she's been frauded, was a fraud towards this buyer. Okay, so that's why I'm making this video, trying to open you the mentality here in Italy. Now, it's not really about the mentality. You might have these issues again in many countries. I mean, again, where there's no third party checking, you might have this issue, and anyway, it's your own responsibility then to check and investigate. Notarius, again, these are the paper has, you confirm that yes, are these the papers correct, someone told you yes, then you agree, then you sign. But if you go through a legal court case, you might not be anymore the owner. If you are able to prove that you've been frauded, should be cancelled. The purchase should be cancelled. I'm not sure about this. Then anyway, I'm just guessing. Don't take me. But anyway, a court case in Italy costs a lot of money. Don't forget it. It might cost you even 5 times more than what you have to pay now. For example, this 3,000 euro to fix the papers. Now, another one say, exactly, I sold my family house in Italy last year and I had to pay an extra fee for a minor change done to the house 40 years ago. It's the seller's responsibility to pay the fee. You need a notaio to buy and sell a property in Italy, just like a lawyer in the US. Now, bring you back to my case. I was hurrying, I was in a kind of rush to buy. I needed a place sooner. That's why I said lease, because this is a duty of the seller to fix all these papers. It might take time. And for example, the seller told me, listen, Antonio, this is gonna take 6 months. She was rushing to sell and I was rushing to buy. I said, because we are both in a rush, let's find an agreement, legal or not, let me say, once the contract is done and nobody is reporting the case. I mean, everyone is happy. Now it's my job to fix this. But I got discounted because I asked to the geometer, how much would it cost me to fix this? Geometer told me it's gonna cost you this. Then I contact the seller, I say you're rushing, deduct me this money, and we are all happy, okay? Someone says geometer should be paying the 3,000 euro. Technically, yes, only if you have papers written. Something proving that this geometer was checking and investigating the property for you. If not, then let me say what other comments. Now, this is such an interesting topic because it's a big topic. Maybe I will cover more videos about this, but I'm saying that what I said up to now is quite easy, understandable. Shouldn't be that much difficult to understand what I'm saying. Now, this is legally the vendor's responsibility. Exactly. I had exactly the same problem and my avvocato, lawyer, solicitor, withheld 5,000 euro from the settlement with the approval of the notaio as the cost of getting the cadastral plan updated. Basically what happened to me. So, here withheld 5,000 euro from the settlement. Please notify the notaio of this discrepancy, and they should force the vendor to update the plans before settlement or withhold settlement payments to cover the cost. To be honest, if it's written, if it's already signed, the contract, if you have already purchased, it's already a bit too late. All you need is something written that you had an agreement with this geometer, and this might not be very easy to have. Otherwise, do what I did and engage an avvocato as well as geometra. Now, there are some replies under this comment. Now, there is a big dispute who is saying that notario is responsible, who is not responsible. For example, this one saying the notario is responsible too. You did go through a notaio, right? Of course, you cannot purchase a property in Italy without a notaio. Yes, all above board, agent, geometra, notaio. Okay, so they were all together. They all should have caught this. Yeah, someone said they all should have caught this problem. They are liable, especially the geometra. So geometra is responsible. I thought that was precisely the geometra's job. Exactly. I mean, I totally agree. But again, if you're buying, it's also important that when you have the papers from geometra, you also inspect these papers. It's also important this. I know when you're buying, you might not really thinking about this, okay, because, okay, you say, I'm in these safe hands, and safe hands, I have responsible people, I have a trustworthy agent, a trustworthy notaio, a trustworthy geometra, they're all trustworthy, they're all smiley, friendly, whatever, okay, you feel like they're doing their job, so like you don't have to worry, but it's very important to double check the plans, planimetry. That's what the floor plans, the land planimetry, and you check, for example, okay, first floor, you see there is one bathroom, there is one kitchen, and there is the hall. Then, if in your plan there's no bathroom, so you enter in the house and you see on the first ground floor there is a hall, a bathroom, a kitchen, living room. Perfect. But let me say that then you have the plan in your hands that geometra provided you, and then you see that there's no bathroom. But in the reality there is a bathroom. So it means the bathroom was done after this plan was deposited in the Catasto office. So it means these works have been done after, and no one ever registered and paid the geometra to update the papers in the Catasto. Wow, I like so much this video because I think it's very, very important for all the people who wants to buy a property in Italy. Again, you should also check yourself. It's not a difficult job. You have the papers, you have the floor plan given to you by the geometra, then you enter in the house, then you see this, or even a window. Then, for example, if it's about a wall in the house, let me say this other thing. If it's just a wall, half wall that have been knocked down, for example, that might not be a big issue because it's internal. The worst cases, and that's where it's gonna be even more expensive, for example, is an extra window that never been reported. That's even worse. Or, for example, a space on an attic, for example, where I am now, I'm in the attic. If this was registered as an attic, or just, now I don't have the word in English, solaio. Let me see, let me go on Google Translate. Google Translate. Because, for example, in Italy we have this difference between soffitta and solaio. Soffitta is for attic. Now, wait a second. What happened here? Google Translate, come on. Google Translate. Now, here, let me go back. Solaio. Okay, solaio is translated as attic, but in Italian, solaio, it's a place that is not made to live. So, if you live in a house, buying a house, and the attic is registered not to live, but then when you go to the attic, you see that there is a bedroom, that there is a bathroom, that means it's fully illegal. Because solaio, then, let me say soffitta. Soffitta is translated as ceiling, no. Anyway, these are kind of other things. I'm not going deep that much into all the problems could be a garage door that never been registered,